Greetings, Taekwondo family. Welcome to Miami Minutes, the show that shall avenge you. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And here, sweltering in the Floridian heat behind my black mourning veil, it's me, Niall McGowan. It's a time now for family. When we're all in grief, you know. Like we all need you, Taekwondo family.
We do. Like, you know, this... We're going to get there, but this is a very sad minute that I thought was a lot later in the film.
Yeah, this really, really took me by surprise because it's so quick into the minute. That and I was all, you know, because as of recording and air date, it is the new year, and I was coming in going like, all right, time for some new Miami Minutes. Let's get refreshed for the new year. Let's dig into this, and then to be literally within the first 5 seconds of this minute to be like, what the hell? Did not see it. And again, like yourself, John, I thought like, oh, I know what happens eventually. I had in my mind this is like, oh, that's like 20 minutes time. But like, no, Same. It's now. It slipped. It sneaked up on us somehow.
And in a way, that shows how effective it is. We didn't see it coming.
It's just like real life, you know. Do you ever really see it coming?
Well, is it better to see it coming or not to see it coming? I've genuinely pondered this over the years. Listeners, we are talking, of course, about death.
Yes.
Is it better to know, or is that more upsetting and scary?
No, I think I'll be more. Yeah, I'd rather not know.
but then you don't get to say your goodbyes and make peace and things.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
That's why you live every day as if it's your last, John.
That's
and,
true.
You know, always treat your loved ones with kindness and respect because you never know. It might be the last time you see them.
Yeah, I imagine that YK Kim and Mark the character both live their lives that way.
Although I'm about to get into the debate of whether Mark flat out murders the person in question.
I have things to say about that. I think we might be on opposite sides since you brought that up, but we'll get there.
There is a sound effect in there that indicates to me that like, oh no, this is like, and I mean he's already killed 2 people. Like what's one more to him?
I disagree, but this is minute 68, and the minute starts with a vertical destination. And it ends with an intense proclamation.
It is really, it's a great moment to end on because it is just such a very much like, oh, mission statement. You know, yeah. It's really getting out there. It is setting us up for the rest of the film, quite frankly. And at the start of this new year, we do end the minute on a note of like, this is what the rest of the movie is going to be about now. Basically.
Oh yeah. You thought the movie was nuts in this scene. It's about to get a whole lot more nuts.
Yeah, you want to get nuts? Come
Let's
on.
get nuts.
That's wrong show.
That should be Yashito's phrase. Spoiler, we'll see Yashito. But we are back as Mark and Jeff are still locked in mortal combat.
Yeah.
They are like swinging wildly at each other, aren't they?
Well, this is the weird thing, is like, what the hell's Jeff doing? Like, Mark has got a weapon, and Jeff is just like throwing shapes.
Well, if you remember, he's got a knife.
Oh, he does have a knife.
So
my mistake.
I think it's not very... I don't want to be mean. It's not very well shot in that you can't really see the knife here.
Yeah. I mean, as I recall in our last recording, we didn't realize that Tom was right behind him.
No.
Until he was up there. It's like, oh, Christ, yeah, that's the whole point of him in there is the fact that Tom's behind him.
A lot of this could be down to what we said a couple of episodes ago about there being... It seems to be mostly natural lighting then whatever lighting they could get their hands on. Because I imagine if this was a bigger budget movie, this would be lit very well. You'd see the knife gleaming, you know.
Yeah.
There'd be a little shine come off it every now and then to remind you.
The more extreme kung fu movies, there'd probably be a thing of like the knife colliding with Mark's, you know, its pole thing, and like sparks flying off it or something. But so far, like coming in cold, it really does just look like, yeah, Mark's like threatening a guy with a pipe. Or something, and the guy's just trying to be like,
threatening someone who deserves it. Come on.
Well, I mean, if anyone does, then you know, even if he didn't have that knife, I can't imagine Jeff been too intimidated by Mark with his thing. He's just like, well, you know, just a tough guy. He's the kind of guy who could like fall 30 stories, crack his head open, and just walk away. Or would he? Is he that type of guy?
I might have some bad news for you. But as they are swinging wildly at each other, Jeff takes one step back too many. And as you say, like Mick Foley from the Hell in a Cell, good God Almighty, he plummets to the ground.
And it was literally one of my notes as well. It's the Mankind Undertaker Cage Hell in a Cell match.
I love the way even people who aren't really big on wrestling, even people who have never really seen wrestling, they at least seem to know about that. They're like, oh, that thing where that guy got thrown off the cage. Oh, that's crazy.
The one time Undertaker kind of broke character by being like, oh, no.
He did look, he kept in character quite well, but I think you could read it in his face a little bit, couldn't you? Like, oh, please get up. Please get up.
Yeah. I think of the shot too. It's Mark and Tom looking down because Tom's woken up to have a little nosy. And it's just the two people looking over to see like what's happening. That evokes memories of that. But also the shot is to me seems near identical to in The Empire Strikes Back. When Luke knocking Vader off the carbon freezing platform and kind of looking down. This is like it's the same. It's Empire Strikes Back, one of the most acclaimed films ever made. Miami Connection did the same thing with a much lower budget and actually I say possibly more dangerous. Definitely more dangerous.
Oh, 1,000%. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a crash mat or something. I mean, the way he falls, I'm sure there is. But still, a movie this low budget, that's risky.
Yeah, cause I was trying to slow it down and be like, maybe is there a chance they use the dummy?
I think it's a guy.
No, it's definitely a guy. Again, they would have been like, can we get a dummy? And then that might have been where YK Kim drew the line. It's like, oh, we've got a mannequin here. And it's been like, it looks like crap. Like, I let a lot of things slide. But no, we're going to have to get... And the thing is, it probably would have been Jeff himself. It'll have to be like, all right, man, you got to step up. Like, well, don't worry, we'll put down a mattress. And like, I would not feel safe even with that mattress there. Because... again, this movie's budget, that mattress has probably got like springs sticking out of it, and forget it's been stained through with Christ knows what.
Well, they could have got a proper crash mat, but even then, that's not a guarantee.
Do
Do
you think they would have had the rest of Jeff's gang down there with the old-fashioned fireman trampoline thing?
Oh, yeah, that like
running back and forth to the he's coming. Oh, no, he missed him.
Oh, Jesus. You're right as well. It's almost definitely just the actor. Because essentially everyone in this movie is a stuntman.
Yeah.
Whether they want to be or not. Although you mentioned a mattress, that's another Mick Foley thing, actually. That's how he got into WWF. Well, that's how he sort of got into wrestling, shall I say. Was he used to wrestle in his back garden, or yard to Americans, and he sent a video to them of him jumping off the roof of his house, and all that cushioned his fall was his mattress from his bed. And everyone was like, holy fucking shit, this guy's insane. Hire him.
Yeah, man. That's probably they probably sent off for Mick Foley's Magic Mattress then for the show.
Mick, can we borrow your mattresses? Oh, well, it is a bit battered. No, we need it.
As soon as that now, though, that would be like, what happened to that mattress? Did he sell it? That would be a priceless bit of memorabilia these days.
It would, actually. He could sign it and everything. And he's one of those people, he likes to do stuff for the fans. So, like every year he'll do videos as Santa Claus if you want. You can buy a video of him as Santa because he looks like Santa anyway.
It seems like he'd be a pretty terrifying Santa, but okay.
Well, because he's got half an ear. Come on.
No, but he's just a very intimidating figure. Imagine him wrapping tinsel around his face to recreate the Mankind mask and stuff.
That'd be amazing. I really now also want the actor who's Jeff to do Santa videos on Cameo. He's got a beard, just dye it.
I don't know. This guy, he doesn't seem like he's... I'm pretty sure he's still alive. But of all the research into Miami Connection... I've yet to see him reappear. I think he takes himself very, very seriously. Probably, I don't think he appreciates the joke of it.
No, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. Because I'm in the middle anyway.
He's no Tom. He's not Angelo out there like reaping all the benefits. He's not like out there going, "Hey, this dopey thing I was in." He might be like, "I put my heart and soul in that part. I got laughed at."
Well, and to be fair, we've praised him all movie. You know, he has. Well, I mean, obviously, sometimes his acting's not perfect because he's not an actor.
Yeah,
but he's better than me. So you know.
Also, too, probably like sore the fact that like, oh, he's irreparable damage to his spine taken from doing this fall, probably. Like,
yeah, turns out they didn't cushion his fall. That is just him laying.
I was just like, the mattress is 5 degrees over where it should be.
It's like, well, we've got the footage, use it. Might as well.
Yeah. Oh, totally. You'd be like, well, I shattered my shoulders or whatever doing this. You better goddamn use it. But
I think we've mentioned that before. You know, that's like Jackie Chan's thing, isn't it? He'll get injured a lot in his movies, and he's like, no, like I broke 5 bones getting this footage. You better fucking put it in the film.
Do they mention? I know you usually at the end you'd go to the commentary, but did they mention anything in the commentary track about how this guy took this going down? Or
no. Absolutely nothing. They go off on a completely different tangent that has nothing to do with what we're seeing. Yeah.
Oh my god! They take one of the most important moments of the whole movie, and they just talk about something else over the top of it.
Yeah. So I'll bring that up at the end. But all they say in relation to this is they watch it in silence, and then one of them goes, "Oops."
Well, there we go. Bring it up to the point though, because initially I was like, I mean, he's going out like a chump. Like, what's happening? Like. This is such a, because it appears on a very simple level, like on the base level of just watching it, a gut reaction is that Jeff's trying to fend off his spot, he takes a step backwards, and then he just falls off like an idiot. Like that's how he dies. Is like, just didn't watch his, much to be fair, Bruce Wayne didn't watch his footing in Batman Begins either.
Yeah. So. You know what would save it completely? Because I think this is what they're implying, but they didn't. For my liking, they didn't set it up enough. I think it's meant to be because they're battling, they're swinging at each other. I think he's meant to be edging back the whole time.
Yeah,
but it does sort of do it a bit too quickly. Normally you'd have multiple shots of the feet going back, and he's getting closer to the edge. This is just like, oh, there he goes.
yeah. That's Jeff's problem. Always edging. But no,
I think such an edger. Jeez.
Maybe because I almost needed to rewatch last minute. Again, to set this up, because it is like, no exaggeration, it's like exactly 5 seconds into the minute, he's off. Like he's and it feels so quick. It feels like, this should be much more of a battle. Like, I guess they'll be like, we already did a whole battle last minute. But see, up here, it needs to be more like him going for Tom or something, or like just something to indicate that, there's a bit more of a build-up, and to rather he ran up there, they started throwing shapes for 3 seconds, and then in 2 seconds, he fell off.
There's a little bit more. I'm happy with the battle aspect, to be honest, because I did rewatch the previous minute just to put it in context. I'm fine with the battle being a little bit quick. It's purely the foot thing for me. Yeah, I think to make him not look like he just fucked up, show him getting sort of pushed backwards. Keep cutting to the feet, cut to the feet. But. I mean, maybe that's because we've watched 800,000 movies over our lives.
Well, that's the thing, though, because I think now watching it minute by minute and like making notes and stuff and sitting there craning in, I think Mark hits him off. Like, I think Mark clearly beats him off in this.
I'd pay for that.
That's Miami after dark.
Well, I suppose you could say he does, but that's the heat of battle, isn't it? I don't think Mark realizes he's at the edge. He's just trying to subdue him.
Well, but there is distinctly, because they are going like over the top of things. But just before Jeff goes, there's a distinct sound effect, as if Mark's, his tool has landed. Like he's landed a blow, and that's what knocks Jeff off. Is like he finally got him. And like I would be okay with it, because again, we have seen him kill 2 people already. So it's like, Mark had to do. It would work even better if we hadn't seen him kill 2 people. Yeah. And it was just like Jeff the whole time. It's like, this asshole's not going to do anything. Like he's just dragging out a bunch of friggin', rock star pansy boys. They're not going to come and do anything to the mighty Jeff. And then to discover like, no, Mark is up there faced with an incredibly intimidating foe. And he actually lands the blow to kill him. And it's clear that he lands the blow to kill him. I would 100% take that. Like, it's like, it proves then, like, you don't mess with this guy. So
but I agree. But I think YK Kim's thing will be, I don't want to show him doing that. I don't know. But then we've seen him do
He already killed, like, graphically murdered 2 people.
Yeah, but we could excuse one of them. The one to the neck, you're like, okay, maybe. But the next one was very, very, very deliberate.
It needs, it almost would have done with a commando, the Arnie's move with the pipe. Had, again, Jeff been fending off Mark, and then went to, like, stab Tom quickly, and then Mark just, like, speared him with the thing, and then he fell off. But again, that's out of their range, I think, for this, but not in terms of, like, the skills of the actors to do it, but it's just more, like, budget-wise and stuff, and setting up that kind of shot, particularly on, like, what, quite frankly, is definitely very dangerous scaffolding that was not in any way, would never have passed health and safety in any studio film whatsoever. And just to be like, and then he falls off the thing, and all those jagged rocks down there, just lay a mattress across that, and it'll be fine.
It'll be okay. Well, as we established, it is a real, like, site. It's not a set or anything. So, this isn't designed for people to be off.
I mean, he's probably, like, quite happy to be off it. Like, he's probably like, oh, yeah, I'll do the jump as long as I don't have to stand on all this rusted metal. And I feel like I'm going to fall through it any goddamn second.
Going to the commando thing again, this would be perfect time for Mark to just do a quip.
Like, oh, yeah.
I see you have fallen for me.
Actually, we have to try to think of what other quips would have worked here, because YK Kim's not a quip guy. He's very sincere in his messaging. But he wouldn't have time for it.
I think what made me think of it as well as you saying commando is the way that YK Kim himself, I don't think it's meant to be the character as such. YK Kim is just standing there watching Jeff fall to his death. He's just standing there, dead casual.
It did, again, it reminded me of I don't know if I bring it up as much on this show, but I definitely bring it up on Batman all the time. It reminded me of 1987's cinematic masterpiece, Masters of the Universe. Wherein, at the end, Skeletor is defeated by gravity. As are many of the villains we always face. Like, all the Batman villains, like, there's always a bit of gravity, always is part of their downfall. And he does a thing where, like, He-Man breaks his... Skeletor's turned into a god at that point. They have to fight. He-Man breaks his staff, and apparently that turns him back into normal Skeletor.
Yeah.
And then they do the, Skeletor, it's over. Yes. For you! And then he pulls a sword out of nowhere. And then, like, they have a little brief sword fight again. And Skeletor goes to slash He-Man. And then, because Castle Grayskull's covered in giant pits throughout the throne room. As they were in the 80s, because it's just ripped off from Return of the Jedi. So it's just like, remember the Emperor's throne room? Just had big giant pits everywhere for some reason. So does Castle Grayskull.
Because it looks cool.
There's a bit of Skeletor going over the edge, and then it cuts to, like, Dolph Lundgren looking down for about 15 minutes of Frank Langella going, no! And you cut to him, and it's like, it's slow motion, this guy going, no. And you really are like, holy Christ, is he still going? Like, what the hell? Hurry it up, mate. He's gone already.
You've got to appreciate the moment.
I mean, I loved it as a kid, but only looking back now, I'm just like, well, that was a slow descent. But again, maybe some would argue that Jeff deserved more of a slow motion. Although, we'll get to his no, because they put an emphatic point on his bellow as he goes below.
Yeah, the scream is in slow mo, and it's not just me, right? That is not that actor.
I think it's multiple actors. I think that's like, it's multi-tracked various voices.
It's all the Sith coming out of him.
I do have a note that was like, maybe that's what he was doing when he was throwing shapes, is that he was trying to, like, summon all these other ninja spirits to enter him so he could, like, ascend. He was doing a trick Yashito taught him. Because, Yashito he knows some more fancier, slightly supernatural martial arts.
Well, exactly. He does the whole fire thing,
Yeah, the fire thing. So he could, like, maybe Jeff was like, yes, now I'm going to put all my... I am all the Miami Ninja that we learned that they're definitively called at the end of the minute.
Their official title.
And then Mark just gets him. It's like, so which would you rather? What I think maybe we'll just have to leave it up to the audience. But like, what would you say, John? Would you agree that like there's a Mark takes him out, or will you just be like, no, it's an accident?
I think it is an accident. I think it's meant to, they're in battle. They are fighting for their lives, but I don't think Mark has consciously driven him off the edge. I think he would beat him down. He might kill him on the ground anyway, but I think it's just in the moment he stepped back to get, a bit of room because he's only got a knife and he's gone. That's my thing. But, I think if you strike him down, Mark, he'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Oh, if only. If only.
Well, wait and see. We might have forgotten.
I just was again, no quips or even... Well, they only shared a brief moment of dialogue earlier. I would have loved a callback to the iconic, "You do not frighten me at all!
Yes.
At all!"
Yes, oh...
He just said that as he was going, and then you do the slow motion at all as he's falling. It's just like, oh, there you go. It was set up. They only had a little crumb of time together, but Mark came in and said, "You don't frighten me," and then at the end, Mark showed literally no fear. He was like, "I will fucking kill you, man."
To be fair,
and Jeff was a bit like, "Okay, I guess he did."
Yeah, he lived up to it. We did comment a few minutes ago that Mark took it seriously when he met Jeff. The other guys he just seemed to deal with, but when it was Jeff, it was serious. But at the same time, he wasn't scared. Mm-hmm. He didn't run because he's confident in himself, and he pulled it off. Jeff hits hard. Now, my initial thought was, because you see John, he goes over and takes a gander, and it looks bad. So it could go either way for the first-time viewer. What's going to happen to Jeff? And especially because you can see him breathing. But at the same time, I'll let that slide because you might not necessarily die immediately. In real life, death isn't just, I close my eyes and stick my tongue out. Yeah.
You think it's an even worse bit where they go down and like suffocate him to death? Because it's like, well, we can take him to the hospital. Or
Mark just puts like a handkerchief over his mouth and nose. That's it.
He's like, I'm not even all that badly injured. Let me go.
Go to sleep, Jeff.
I did appreciate though, like saying like, oh, they're cribbing from the classics because you had that Empire Strikes Back shot there as he went down, and then I just wanted to get the Halloween sting of when you see the body lying beneath because it's totally Donald Pleasance shooting Michael Myers out a window and cutting over, and then it's like, oh, there he is. He's lying on the ground. He's definitely dead this time.
I was listening to a podcast about Halloween recently, and Donald Pleasance, they mentioned, and they used audio clips as well of, like, he didn't really know what the fuck the movie was. Initially, he's just like, yeah, you want me to be in your stupid horror? Like, yeah, okay, fine. What have I got to say? Okay, cool, let's go. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, he gave it his all.
Donald Pleasance always a joy in all those movies. I think it was always the case of like, you're paying me to come back, right? Yeah, I'll be in it. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah,
I'll do it. Yeah, because to be fair, he is possibly the best thing in all the ones he's in.
Oh, totally. Well, 100%. Yeah. This was the classic moment of the end of Halloween 4 when like little Jamie Lloyd becomes the new killer, and just like Donald Pleasance sees her, instantly whips out his gun to shoot like a 10-year-old. Yeah. And is just doing this, no.
I love that about his character. No bullshit. He's like, no, we got to kill this motherfucker right now.
It's very clearly Michael's back somehow in this kid. I'm going to shoot her in the face. That'd be great if there's a scene of this where like Dragon Sound all go home, and then this like Jim gets murdered in his bedroom or something, and Mark comes out and just sees like John standing atop the stairs with a new beard and just like, no.
Yeah, it's grown overnight.
No. Whips out the pipe again to go for him.
That'd be amazing. Oh, yeah, you cannot defeat Jeff. This is only his physical form.
They should have done the, at the end, like the post-credit bit should have been just like Jeff doesn't have a theme. It's just a shame. He never had a leitmotif or anything.
That should be on the soundtrack, Jeff's theme.
Jeff's theme, but then just like cut to like again like the end of Halloween, just like all the familiar haunts we had throughout the film, like the club and the beach and stuff like that, and then just like here they and let's say
yeah, that'd be fucking cool.
And just ends with the, cuts to black and you just hear, a friend.
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe they probably will get to it in future minutes. But, are they, so what, do we bury him? Or, what did he do with Jeff after this? Is it just, cut up the body, or... And then where's all... It has that classic thing of, well, so he's dead, so I guess the fight's over.
Well, if you kill the leader, yeah, Yeah,
it's just I'm sure you had dozens of other people there.
But... No. It's the same as Star Wars, Emperor's gone. Yeah, the whole the war's over.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars, we never really saw Vader in this fight, right? We saw the actor who played Vader in that other part. But where's he? Where's Anthony Kiedis and Chris, Kid Rock and stuff? They're around there somewhere, right?
They've got important shit to do. They're very busy people now.
I can't help but compare to our other show, where obviously we had the death of the big villains and that. So in many ways I want them to go down and just inside Jeff's pocket is this little bag going. It's that baffling last moment of the Joker in Batman 89. And then just all of a sudden, you just get this really sad music and all the other gang members come out like the penguins at the end of Batman Returns and just take Jeff's body and push him into the sewer water or whatever that was there.
Oh, that'd be gold.
And you just get this really... I was confused about that when I was a kid, and we were just baffled about it. I remember that minute. It was us and Dale Kingsmill. So it's why is the music... He's the bad guy. Why is the music so goddamn sad?
Because it's sad whenever it happens to anyone. It's very sad here. Even though he's the villain, I felt a bit crushed.
Oh, man, again, because I didn't see it coming. I was devastated. I was so how many minutes do we have left without him? I don't know if I can go on talking about the movie when Jeff's not in it.
Show's over.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done. No.
And I was... then I cheered myself up by trying to write his tombstone.
Oh.
I don't know, because the gang all seem kind of incompetent as well without him. Jane, I guess, would have to put together the funeral?
Yeah, and she's the kind of family member who, even though she knows he wasn't a great guy, she would take that up on herself. She would do it.
I mean, at the end, he did it all for her, didn't he? He was all about his sister. So.
That's the thing. Okay, he did bad stuff, but he did it for good reasons, I guess. Yeah. So it makes him an interesting character, actually, because normally in these movies, they're just evil. like Yashito, actually. I mean, really, what we know of Yashito, he's just a dick who wants a load of money. You don't really know anything else about him.
No. Well, we've made up now it's got to the point that we've made so much up about Yashito. I'm kind of what was show and what was the actual film is blurring to me now. So I'm but should we establish that Yashito was in love with Jeff, and he was always trying to win him over and stuff. Yeah, that was. I just wanted to, pour one out for Jeff. This is the most devastating loss of the movie so far.
It is. I'm pretending to pour one. I'm not going to spill this on my carpet.
Well, you have to do all the drinking game later. You don't got shots to spare. Quite frankly.
No, I don't. I'm poor.
Yeah. But this will, even though it turns out to be a fake out death later, this devastated me more than the thought of Jim dying. So yeah. And so what would you put as Jeff's epitaph? Look, imagine his tombstone in the Orlando graveyard, whatever they're called, Orlando Stiffs or whatever.
Is that the name of his gang?
So you just put the Orlando Stiffs. It's the Stiff Little Fingers cover band, Stiff Little Orlandians.
Yes.
But so you just have a tombstone and then Jeff ? Jeff, and then just a space for where his last name would be ? And then you can't write down because he was a son, but the parents are both dead, so you don't really want to put that down. Would you? Would you bother put that? He was a son, I guess.
Beloved son. As always, it's always the same bullshit, isn't it?
Beloved son, brother.
Well, there's going to be another use of the word brother in a minute.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So brother to many people.
We're going to get there.
Yeah. in many ways, you could just literally all you could write is Jeff brother. Because his parents aren't around to see the beloved son thing. He is Jane's brother and potentially someone else's brother. So brother, you can't write friend because he hates it.
He hates friends. Yeah, he doesn't have friends.
You can't write a friend. So no friend. Business owner, maybe.
Yeah, he's, successful businessman and philanthropist.
And I'm trying. Do they have any beyond a friend? There's no pearls of wisdom that you could write as a quote on his own tombstone.
Because his pearls of wisdom were physical.
Mm.
You can't put them into words now.
Do you think it would be like a little, like his tombstone would be in the shape of a fist or something?
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know. I think you gotta dangle the earring off the side as well. Sometimes people put like an old man's hat on his grave or something. Someone has to dangle the little feather earring.
I think so. He wouldn't want flowers, He'd have cans of beer and stuff.
Well, it does seem like the type of funeral Jane would be there genuinely mourning, and then you'd have Vader and stuff with their Bud Light
pouring it on the grave. There you go, man.
And some of the more dignified members might actually, fork out for a Jack Daniels or something and pour that on too, But that always struck me with particularly in my 20s when you have no money at any given time. And remember in Grosse Point Blank is just John Cusack going to his hometown to visit his dad who he hated.
Oh yeah.
But it visits his dad's grave, buys a bottle of Jack Daniels, and then pours out the entire thing on his grave to be there you go, Dad. And I remember I was it's such an expensive whiskey though to be why would you waste that? You wasted a whole bottle of Jack Daniels is what you did.
Yeah, I get it, but they say when someone's dead, you make an exception. You're okay, this is your last one, so let's just fucking do it.
Cusack is established in the film to be very well off as well. You literally see stacks of money that he has. So it's all right, he can. But then I would never buy a whole. If I was going to do it, I'd be let's go for a cheaper whiskey.
Oh, come on. You have to get their favourite. If I die, you better get a Woodford Reserve.
It'd be going there with my stealing a Woodland Reserve bottle from your shelf and pouring some Stewart's cream of the barley into it.
You could get away with that because I've only got enough in my current bottle for another 2 drinks. So there's room to add.
Oh, just water it down then. It's all right, just take it to the tap. John will never know.
My spirit will.
Getting haunted by you cheap son of a bitch.
How could you do that to me?
And also insisting that we have to finish the podcast as well.
If I die, we're finishing this from Beyond the Grave. No fucking question about it. It's gonna happen, people.
Even if that doesn't happen, John, I promise. If something happens to you, I will continue recording, but then leave your audio track blank, so it'll just be me talking to nothing, and then pretend as if your ghost is, and then be it's the first ever ghost confirmed podcast because you can't hear John, but I promise you that they're there. And then you'll get the paranormal experts looking at the wave file and seeing little bumps and stuff occasionally.
Something is coming through.
There it is. That was John making contact.
Ooh.
In Paranormal Activity where they record the room and then you just get the little. At one point they're oh my god, what the hell was that?
Hey, that's what happens on Zach Bagans. Was it Ghost Adventures? There'll be a slight oh my god! Oh my god!
And then I hope you'll be happy to be remembered as literally dust floating in a dark room.
Absolutely, that's my goal. I want to be an orb.
It's it's the orbs. It's you sure it's not dust? It's no, I know it looks like dust. And I know anyone looking at that would say that's definitely dust, but I'm telling you it's an orb.
No, you just don't understand now. You don't understand what equipment you're using or how to read it. You have to be professional.
That's why I see Jeff's orb floating up now and then just punching Mark in the face and then floating off. Mark, what the hell?
Jeff's orb, so to speak, should come out of his body a la Twin Peaks The Return. That kid dies.
Oh. Or you could be you discovered the whole time Jeff was actually bald and all his hair is the symbiote from Spider-Man or the ooze from the X-Files, the black ooze.
And it crawls off.
Yeah, you see his chest hair because his shirt is so low cut So it's kind of like, yeah, it's like that's why the hair doesn't want to be stuffed underneath the shirt. That's why it's always gasping for air. So then now Jeff's gone. It just like leaps off his body. It starts crawling away towards its next unwitting host,
which will be John, tying into what you said earlier.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. And then Mark has to kill John.
Like just John's in the shower there, looks up and sees this big, like hairy nest in the corner, and it just jumps on his face or something. And like the next day, like, John, is there something different about you? Like, I am a new tie wearing.
Probably misses his old glasses.
Just sitting there with a giant, bushy, action man G.I. Joe beard. So I'm pretty sure he didn't have a beard. I don't remember John saying he tried to grow a beard. He couldn't.
Right, we've got to Photoshop it. We have to put a beard on him for the picture. We have to.
As everyone's looking back at photos of John's failed mustache of 1985. They're like, there's no way he grew that beard naturally. There's just no way.
Isn't it mad when you meet people who, like, because, you know, I if I want to be clean, I have to shave once a day. Some people are like, I have to shave 2 or 3 times a day. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What planet have you come from?
So I'm the as a beard wearer, I'm just like, yeah, occasionally I'll go and clean up around the neck area, because it's like, well, you know.
You don't want to be a neck beard.
You don't want to be a neck beard, so you just like, shave that in a little bit, but do that maybe like once a week.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time it's like, all right, you know, again, another once a week thing. So it's like, all right, so just shave it down a little bit to just, you know, a less straggly length.
Well,
there we go. I'm done. I'm done for 7 whole days at that point.
We're clearly not masculine enough. Although, having said that, apparently, I'm not a doctor, people, so maybe I'm wrong, but apparently losing your hair means you have too much testosterone.
This is the things you've been reading, John, to make yourself feel better.
That's what it is. That's what it is. No, apparently, it's too much testosterone, and that's why you've gone into that early.
They actually say that people who lose their hair, their mom thinks they're really cool. They think their moms think they're cooler than most other kids.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah.
And other people's mothers feel that they're cooler than other kids as well. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, well, I'll say nothing.
I just hear Jeff on the way down. It's like, by the way, I fucked your mother.
Or as they say here in Liverpool, yeah, ma.
The thing is that like, it almost his bellow as he goes, the multi-tracked like seismic shit, like time-splitting bellow.
It sounds nothing like his voice.
It made me feel like, because I was watching over Christmas time there. There's a great thing the BBC used to do called A Ghost Story for Christmas. And it was every year. I don't know why they stopped it, because it was great. I guess maybe after 30 years, they're like, oh, for God's sake, we're not doing this anymore. But they would always have, once a year, they'd do like an adaptation of a ghost story. And they'd get like a relatively famous actor come in and do it. And then it would be like, oh, like a little 40-minute short or whatever. And I watched one adapted from the Charles Dickens story, The Signalman.
Oh, good choice.
It starred Denham Elliott, as most people will remember Marcus from Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I only remember those two things, because you know me and names, but I remember that one vividly just because Denham is such a weird fucking name.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like a posh English guy. It's like, his name's Denham?
Denham?
You sure?
Okay.
It's like, I'm pretty sure he was born before denim existed. Like, he seems that old, you know? But,
and then the only other time I've heard it is... Isn't that his name in, like, the IT Crowd?
Oh, yeah. The Chris
Morris. He's Denham, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think.
But then they probably are, I think, unless they're deliberately naming him after Denham Elliott. You never know. But to believe Denham Elliott is spelt like Denholm.
Yeah.
So it's not Denham, but, you know.
Same pronunciation, though, pretty much, you know.
Yeah. But anyway, the gist of The Signalman is that, like, he's a guy, you know, a signalman at a railroad track, and he's there by himself all day, every day. And he keeps seeing this vision of a specter going like, no, for the love of God, stay away, and all this other stuff. And every time he sees it, it's a prediction of something horrible that's going to happen. And so at one point, a train crashes, and at another point, a woman falls out the side of the train and stuff. And he's still wondering, why does I keep seeing this thing? What am I supposed to be taken away from this? There's nothing I can do. I see it, and then the thing happens immediately. I can't. It's making me feel impotent and stuff. And then it turns out at the end that the ghost was actually a vision of the future of his own death. Because he goes down to see the specter, and ironically, by standing on the tracks, he doesn't see that the train is coming right for him, and et cetera, et cetera. It's very well done, actually. It's very atmospheric, and there's a guy he talks to the whole time, who's just a random guy who shows up to visit him. And they do a whole thing with like death masks and stuff. It's very, very creepy and stuff. But I was imagining then, it's like, you know, we were wondering what Jeff was doing, kind of sitting, like, looking around, going, whoa. What's happening? Like in previous minutes when the whole fight was happening. It's like maybe he was hearing his own no from the future. Like he was having a vision of his own death. He had a vibe of like, I know the fight's happening, but if I get up, I don't know. I've got a bad feeling, man. I don't know if I should I go forward and try to do this fight? Like what? And then you just hear it still echoing in his ears like, no, 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 no.
I am into this.
Yeah, it's psychic Jeff. But it was too late. It was too late for him to stop his own death.
So Jeff's death, potentially. Well, we find out in a minute it is. Because we cut to Yashito in his dojo with the boys.
Again, it's really been one of the reaction from the Dragon Sound themselves to be like, oh, shit.
No,
like,
they don't care. They've beaten their enemy. They've proven their mastery of the arts.
Well, that might be the thing, though. Like, John and, like, Jim and, like, Tom, they might be like, oh, Christ, Mark, what the hell? And Mark might be like, I killed, like, 5 other people on the way to get to him.
They
like,
had it coming.
That's like, yeah, Tom might be like, all he did was rough me up a little bit. You don't have to kill him. It's like, he had it coming. All right.
He did. I'm with Mark on this one. But I think possibly, you know, you see Yashito here meditating with the lads. And
meditating with the lads.
Name of the episode. Maybe I was going to call the episode "The Tool Has Landed," but now I might call it "Meditating with the Lads." Let's see.
It's about like Yashito. That's how he made his riches, is selling his meditation guide. Meditation with the Lads.
It's out now on DVD. Now, I think he might have sensed that Jeff is injured. You know, like Palpatine does for Vader. Because he's sat there, he doesn't emote too much, but there's something, he can sense it in the Force. Say, he needs me.
They're going to taking a shuttle out there. Jeff clawing his way back up that rickety tower.
He's still alive. I love the way Palpatine says that. It's like, the man is literally burnt to a crisp. I don't think he's going to be alive for long.
Well, I appreciate his optimism. Like, you saw someone else who's like, oh, they're 90% stump, and that stump is burnt to all hell.
Yeah, there's sort like, of a face in there.
Yeah, you'd be like, okay, well, maybe I should put him out of his misery. The Palpatine's like, he's still alive. I can work with this.
I reckon that's what's happening here. Yashito can sense it. He doesn't want to admit it to the lads, you know? He's like, I have to be strong. But while he's holding it in, you know, in walk another ninja dude, and also, is this that guy we saw earlier on in the film?
I was confused at who this guy was as well, because it's like I thought he would be one of Jeff's crew.
Yeah,
and then but it's like, well, why isn't it more of one of the ones of Jeff's crew that we know? Like he's a random suit. This dude.
Well, that's the thing. That's why initially I assumed, oh, this is one of the guys. You know, when Yashito was having a meeting with like a big boss.
Oh,
but this guy calls Yashito boss.
I think this is Jeff Jr.
What?
Jeff Jr. from like the guy who's usually in Jeff's, you know, hand-me-down clothes.
What? No.
We just wouldn't recognize him because he's in a suit. He's like, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's him.
That's impossible.
I was going to be some of those Kid Rock who just took off the hat. Like, oh my Christ, he's like a whole different guy.
He smartens up well, whoever it is. I tell you what, he's got a lovely hairdo, this chap. It looks a bit like one of the members of the Jam. He used to have this hairdo. It wasn't Paul Weller. It was one of the other two.
I'm sure that he'd be glad of that legacy.
Yeah,
like,
you know.
The one in the Jam with the nice hair wasn't Paul Weller, but he was one of the other ones.
You think I would know, of all fucking people. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. What's his fucking name?
Would you have to type in the Google, like, not Paul Weller from the Jam?
Which one is? I'll send you a picture of this guy. Well, I'll send you. It's all the band. There you go. It's the one on the left. It's the same hairdo. It's lovely.
There's like a nice feathery side comb with a slight mullet.
Yeah, it's going into mullet territory. It's sort of bringing that in. But I've forgotten which one this is in the Jam, and on the spot I am failing to get the name. Yeah, I think it's Bruce Foxton. I think.
Oh, he's a fox, baby.
Yeah, actually, looking at it now, I'm 90% sure it's Bruce Foxton.
But we've got a problem, John. We got a big problem, apparently.
We do. These lads, they deliver the news. The terrible news. Despite seeing the breathing, Jeff is dead. And he's also Yashito's brother, apparently.
Well, brother in Christ, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we were on the same track because I thought of it, like the way Hulk Hogan calls everyone brother.
Well, you never know. Underneath some of those ninja outfits, the Hulkster could be there. That's where he got it from. It's like, yeah, we called everybody brother.
Let me tell you something, Jeff, brother.
That'd be the thing then. Just like, Jeff is dead, just ripping off the ninja outfit.
That'd be amazing.
Can the dragon sounds take on the Hulkster?
They couldn't stand up to the power of Hulkamania, let me tell you.
Maybe that's what, what Hulk calls Hulkamania is what Jeff was trying to do by, getting all the ninja spirits to enter him at the one time. So he could, and that's when Mark got him before he got the chance. That's what killed him.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Hulkamania was actually just cocaine.
Well, if we want to get in a more actual way, yes, it definitely was just cocaine. But again, though, all the many voices of Jeff Snow, it's to go back to Star Wars, but when Yashito senses his death, it could be like Obi-Wan doing I heard 1,000 voices cry out.
That's
but
it,
weirdly, they were coming from the one guy. It was odd.
But he knew who it was as well, because he knew Jeff had those spirits within him. He's taught him the technique, right? But he's also taught him the technique to come back from the dead.
And he's just like, okay, I told him once, I've told him 1,000 times, when you're doing the ninja spirit call, don't be at the edge of goddamn scaffolding, because if you have to watch your footing. If you take the time out to do that, you're gonna fall and you're gonna bump your head and you're gonna die. Okay,
that's the number one rule. You don't go to an edge. You don't edge.
always edging.
24/7.
Living on the edge. Aerosmith wrote a song about him, I understand.
So I suppose this isn't a dojo, this is the Goon Cave.
Maybe they're not even meditating too, they're all reading Yashito's list of rules. It's like, no meditating or summoning spirits at edge of scaffolding. It's like, everyone get out your highlighters and mark that one in particular.
Thank God you went there. I was thinking you were going to say it's, they're all tantrically edging. Like Sting.
Well, maybe he is. That's why he's just he's super sensitive. But he was like, oh goddamn, someone's gonna interrupt the shit.
he's that talented and whatnot. He can just do it with his mind. He just sits there all day, every day, ready.
The guy comes in like, boss, we've got a big problem. You're telling me, get the hell out.
Oh, we're ruining Jeff's memory. These guys, not only do they say he's dead, they say he was killed by Dragon Sound.
Yeah, collectively by again, Jim and Angelo, all these guys go I had nothing to do with it. What the hell? I suppose I was there, but so what? Come on.
This guy doesn't know. He maybe just found the body. Oh, and also he says Dragon Sound. He's talking about Dragon Sound. That means you take a drink.
Hey.
It's my Jack Daniels. Well, it's actually not Jack Daniels. What is this? No, it's rum.
I also found out a little thing as well that I thought was quite interesting. Because I thought it was odd that a ninja would call his master boss.
Yes.
Rather than master.
Which made me think he wasn't a ninja and that he was part of the drug side.
But it seems like he's in ninja garb. He just doesn't have the mask on.
The one with the nice hair?
No, the Jeff Jr. No, the other guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, he is. Sorry, yeah. I thought that's why I'm getting confused. I thought you meant the nice hair dude. No, you mean the one who's clearly not, Japanese or anything. He looks more, I don't know, Tongan.
Yeah. But from this, though, I decided to look briefly into the etymology of the word boss.
Oh.
And where does it come from? Apparently, it's a Dutch word. And it's just boss. So the Dutch form boss is attested in English from the 1620s as the standard title of a Dutch ship's captain. The word's popularity in the U.S. may reflect egalitarian avoidance of master. as well as the need to distinguish slave from free labor. So that's why boss became a thing, because they didn't want to have to keep saying... They didn't want to get mixed up with a master, basically.
That makes sense, yeah.
Apparently, they said it also does come from the Dutch word. If you trace it back far enough, it just means master as well. So it's just they're trying to just mix things up and just be like, okay, so this guy is the master, but he's not a slave owner. He's just the guy in charge, so he's the boss.
I suppose back then you probably really had to differentiate because you would, a lot of people would probably encounter both of those roles.
I think nowadays you just can't really. Unless it's in a martial arts sense, you wouldn't call anybody master now. That would just be weird. It just sounds odd. Except if it's like a little kid, because then they always have the thing. I don't think that's we talked about in Batman it all the time, right? Because they make the distinct thing, and Michael Goff's version of Alfred always calls him Mr. Wayne.
Yes. Where
in the comics and in the animated series, it's always Master Wayne, which is a very English thing to do, to call your young sire a master.
Yeah. I always prefer being pretentious and using foreign versions of master, sensei or sifu.
It is weird to me. It's very 1980s action movie, to be fair, but it is weird that like Yashito, who we know runs a tight ship, this guy's coming in and calling him boss.
Yeah, hey, boss.
Yeah. It should be sensei or whatever, like anything. Master would be more appropriate.
Master would work. I'm in the sensei camp. I think that would be cool. Like, sensei, I bring terrible news.
Unless he just wants to seem cool in front of Jeff Jr. Like they've got a kind of weird mini Yashito Jeff thing going on.
Yeah.
Yashito is always trying to impress Jeff. Now this guy's trying to impress Jeff Jr. It's just like the cycle goes on, But I think that I'm pretty sure that's Jeff Jr. And I believe the suit is... Because I guess it was today was the funeral, or what? They're only telling Yashito now. But,
yeah, we went and buried him down at the beach.
I mean, you're saying was it the same guy who was there in scenes earlier when they were all dressing up to meet Yashito? Maybe it was Jeff Jr. back then too? Like it's just those fatigues he's wearing really pulled a number on me. Like I'm absolutely positive it's the same guy, but it's just like, never would have known.
The power of transformation, the power of his drag.
This is Clark Kent stuff right here, man. It's like he's not even changing his hair. It's just like literally put on a different jacket. And I'm like, whoa, what the hell? Like,
although you mentioning superheroes there, they talk about Dragon Sound killing him and whatnot. And my initial thought was, well, that's not entirely true, because as we've talked about, I think he just fell. But they wouldn't know that, of course. They wouldn't know that. But I think he just fell. But regardless, me saying that, it's very Batman, isn't it? It's like, well, Mark didn't kill him. He got him into a position where he fell and died. It's very Dark Knight Rises. Not Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins.
Yeah. That's it. As Jeff's going down, Mark's like, I don't have to kill you, but I have to save you.
Yeah, it basically is that, isn't it? It's like, I didn't do anything. It wasn't me.
So I guess like Dragon Sound couldn't go to the gang to be like, okay, so let's just explain what happened here. No further bad blood. But
it's a terrible misunderstanding.
If they just boot it out of there, it is just going to be like, so Dragon Sound came and we had a whole big fight, and then the guy in charge is lying with his head cracked open at the bottom of it. It's like, I'm pretty sure it looks like they killed him.
Yeah.
Like it really, really does. And like maybe somebody's there going, maybe he just fell, And then all the gang will be like, no, Jeff didn't go out like a chump, okay? Let's just say that they killed him, all right? Let's say he was about to kill them. He totally had them cornered, and then they got in one lucky shot, and that's how he died.
They're helping Jeff save face, really.
Yeah, totally.
Say he went down swinging.
I mean, particularly with Dexy around as well. He was like, don't let... If he thinks that freaking Jeff went like a chump, like, he's going to be swaggering around, acting like the asshole. Keep him... Mate, Dexy's already, got too big a head. And he's openly confessing to how much of a loser he is all the time.
Yeah, he's not shy about telling you that.
I mean, I kind of wish he was here. Listen, you son of a bitch!
You son of a... He should have died, actually, because he could have shouted that as he fell. You son of a bitch!
And Dexy's over lying in the heap in the corner. That's my line. But Dexy's coming in now to be like, okay, listen, so the band that beat the crap out of me, and stole my job, I went to this other guy and they beat the crap out of him and killed him, and now I'm coming to you.
It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Actually, maybe Dexy's quite happy, though, because I guess his life debt is lifted. He swore all his worldly possessions and his future income to Jeff. But he's like, I didn't see anything about the rest yet. I'm back, baby.
Yeah, he's free of his life debt from this and Hisson. That's a deep reference.
He's just like, I finally can just go and buy a can of Coke again because I literally had no money there for a while.
Oh, yeah, literally, yeah. But when they deliver the news, as I often say whenever anything happens like this, I thought the music and the way it's shot went all Twin Peaks. You know, like a scene in Twin Peaks where somebody gets bad news and we just follow their emotions for like 5 minutes straight. And you just, it's focused on their face. Like, it was like that on Yashito. And I was like, this is actually good filmmaking.
I mean, that is a thing that was going on in YouTube for a while, amongst in the meme pages and stuff as well for Twin Peaks, was people just putting the Laura Palmer theme over other scenes. This you could do it, John. You go in, just edit in.
It would work. It's like he's just got the news that, you know, like, Master, I have bad news. Laura Palmer is dead. What?
Just cut back to Grace Zabriskie in the kitchen. No!
Well, you know, you see the school find out, the parents find out, and then the dojo find out.
Every guy does that little look of Yashito realizing something's wrong and then just looking over and seeing that girl running out screaming. And looks over and just James is sitting there looking worried back at him.
Yashito just starts crying. No. Well, you know, Laura Palmer, she was a very busy person. She went to school. She worked as a hooker. She did drugs. She worked the Meals on Wheels, and she went down to the dojo.
Yep, she was a prolific young woman. You know, so it's like, she got a lot of living done in those 16 years, Laura Palmer.
You know, they don't mention it too much about the dojo stuff because they didn't want to make her seem like a Mary Sue.
Okay, there was a whole sequence then of just like Cooper finding out, like, oh, Yashito, coming to pay a visit to the dojo.
And that was meant to be how you got, you know, Yamaguchi-san. They cut that whole plot point. Yeah.
Although there was one thing that we kind of brushed over there, I had a note on, is just the slight awkwardness. Because when they come in, the first guy is like, boss, we got a big problem. And it kind of cuts to the Yashito reaction. And then it comes back to that guy going, Jeff's gang are all here now. And it seemed to me like it was almost implying that the big problem was the Jeff's gang. Like, now we got to take care of these assholes. Like,
God damn it, those fucking losers. I was trying to get Jeff to myself.
It's like, thin down the gruel. We got more mouths to feed. Like, this is an aimless gang. They're just out there in the playpen. They don't know what to do. So I guess now we've inherited a bunch more Orpans over here.
You can never have too many Orpans, you know?
That would be the bitter irony at the end, would be discover, like, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice style. That, like, you know, they had something in common the whole time. That, like, you know, not that their mother's names was Martha, but that, like, yes, Vader and Kid Rock are also Orpans. And, you know, they could have, if only them and Dragon's Hand had talked it out.
Oh, they could have all been friends. I think that...
friends, John!
No,
he's not even cold on the ground and you're calling them friends!
I mean, allies, I'm sorry. No, I think maybe that is something that would have been an interesting addition, you know, that they never actually do come together over this similarity, but they discover at some point that, like, oh, they're like us.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff himself, like, both parents dead in the car. Like, you know, Jeff was like, what, 47 when that car crash happened, I'm assuming.
But Yashito composes himself, though he's visibly a little rattled, I would say. You can tell it's affected him. It's
the love of his life, Jeff, over here. Like, you know. Actually, I'll say even more than that, because you pause and say second 38. And, you know, some might say it's just a little shine, you know, the oils of his skin on his face. But, you know, I'd say it almost looks like he's a little watery-eyed there.
Yeah, he's got a very moist under eye area.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame for, but I also like, genuinely, that again, this is actually good acting and good filmmaking. You can see on his face, shit. Especially like around second 42. He's like, oh, fuck. Like, I've lost my best guy. I've lost my number 2. But he's also trying to hold it together for the gang. Because you're not allowed to show weakness in this line of work, I imagine. So he's like, he's got his few seconds there to mourn internally. And then immediately, we will avenge Jeff's death.
Yeah. Although, strong men also cry, Mr. Lebowski.
That's
strong
true.
men also cry.
Absolutely true. I mean, there's that famous speech from the Macho Man talking about that.
we got Hulk Hogan and Macho Man in this episode, eh?
I mean, they wouldn't like that. They would not like that. So it's when he's being interviewed by Arsenio Hall. You've probably seen this.
Oh, yeah, sir.
And he says, your middle name is Macho. But I'm wondering if you ever cried. Has Macho Man ever cried? And Macho Man says, it's okay for macho men to show every emotion available. Because I've cried 1,000 times and I'll cry some more. But I've soared with the eagles and I've slithered with the snakes. And I've been everywhere in between. And I'm going to tell you something right now. There's one guarantee in life. There are no guarantees. And understand this. Nobody likes a quitter. Nobody said life was easy. So if you get knocked down and you take the standing 8 count, you get back up and you fight again. That's macho mania. Dig it?
I take it you're trying to hint that you want this put on your tombstone.
I mean,
John.
I would not be opposed to that. Or just put cream of the crop.
The cream will rise to the top, even when he's buried 6 feet deep.
And when you walk past my grave, it just goes, ooh, yeah.
Oh, where were we?
Yashito's a macho man. But then he comes out with his iconic line, they will not escape the Miami Ninja.
Oh, yeah, great. I do love just the instant going into supervillainy, like, just the vow to avenge Jeff.
Well, I think this is basically, as mad and crazy as he was before, I think this has taken the training wheels off now. He's like, that's fucking it.
Yeah.
It's war.
But Yashito, too, now maybe he's just like, I told them. Like, because he was the first one to be like, you got to take care of this band.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else was like, oh, whatever. It's a band. Who cares? And then Yashito was the one to like, Jeff, in order to stop all these problems, you need to... And at that point, remember, Dragon Sound didn't even know who the hell these guys were.
No.
But Yashito, because he is in tune with the spirit world, he probably is psychic himself. This is like, you need to take care of this band, man. If you don't take care of that... He is, ironically now, the signalman in his own story, where he got Jeff killed by telling him to go after Dragon Sound. What'd that do? It got Jeff killed by Dragon Sound.
Yeah, so, it's all your fault. Maybe he feels a bit responsible. That's part of his sadness and aggression. I
thought it should be. It's like, well, have you left well alone? Dragon Sound weren't. At the end of the day, they had nothing to do with your drug deal.
Well, that's the whole story of this movie, though, isn't it? It's like, just leave Dragon Sound alone and they'll stop.
Leave Dragon Sound. I think we did that last episode, right?
But it's a good thing. Like, Dragon Sound are not wanting any part of this, really. Like, I know they make songs about how they don't like ninjas and stuff, but, they don't seem to actually actively be pursuing ninjas on the streets to finish them off and break their necks.
This is like, when Tom was up there in the scaffold, I was like, no, I just wrote that song like when I was high one day, man. I don't think I love ninjas. I watch Bruce Lee all the time.
And the ninjas in our songs are all metaphors.
It's a metaphor for depression. Don't you understand?
We do get a millisecond of ninjas moving into action as the minute ends as well. Just a minute. I have to just mention it because people will call me out if I don't. There's a millisecond at the very end.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of the name, the Miami Ninja, though? It's again much like the guy calling Yashito boss. I'm a bit like, I could do something a bit more formal. Like Jeff's gang are the boss Miami. Oh, we call ourselves the Miami Bikers type. Like Yashito seems like he should have more of a solemn, formal, serious vibe.
I suppose it depends how you're interpreting what he says. Does he mean it literally? This is their name. Or is he just referring to we're the ninja in Miami? If it's that, fine, I don't mind.
Yeah.
But if it's their formal name, I don't like it. Because I come from a world of like Mortal Kombat. They all have names. The Lin Kuei.
Even go something as simple as the Turtles, like the Foot Clan.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, that works.
Or, of course, the clan's is a reference to, in Daredevil, the Hand, been the clan of ninjas and stuff as well. So.
Yeah, but that works. That's cool, because they always have names like that, don't they? Like, what's the Black Hand gang? That was a gang, wasn't it? Are they the people who shot Franz Ferdinand?
Oh, yeah, I believe that's a great name as well. To be fair, like, why would Franz Ferdinand the band name themselves after that when they could have called themselves the Black Hand? Like the whole time.
Well, I'll start a Franz Ferdinand tribute band and call us the Black Hand.
Although I think the Black Hand's also a name for the Mafia as well. And then when the Mafia started out, it's like, oh yeah, it's the Black Hand. Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, you'll like this, actually. And believe it or not, I didn't know this, despite being a war nut. It turns out
a walnut?
A walnut. A war nut. Black Hand isn't their real name.
Ah.
That is a sort of popularly used name. The real name of the Serbian group was Unification or Death.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
See, at the beginning, when I was like, Unification, I was like, I'm not digging this. And then, or Death, I was like, whoa, well, you really saved that in the last second right there.
That's cool as fuck. And they've even got an amazing logo that looks like a pirate flag with like a bottle of booze and a knife on it. That's fucking awesome.
Because like the Black Hand itself is a cool name. So it's kind of like, we don't want to keep calling them that, but we have to come up with something that's as cool. The Black Hand. There you go. Oh, yeah, no, we could all get more with that, yeah.
Oh, my God. This is amazing. When you look into it more, okay, they were Black Hand first, then they changed to Unification or Death. But Unification or Death, they were that long. Oh, it's very complicated. Jesus Christ. But I tell you what, both amazing names. They do have a ritual cross. Maybe that's connected somehow to the map. Oh, I need to look into all this now. This is now my research job for the next 6 weeks.
But I did do, just very briefly, I made up my own names for what I thought was Yashito's gang. Because I just thought, like, Miami Ninja. I was like, okay, we can't really translate Miami into Japanese. I'm assuming it'll just be Miami.
Yeah, it would just be my. Well, let me see. Hang on, because it might be pronounced slightly different. No, looking at the katakana, it's just Miami. Yeah. I mean, it's slightly different. It's like because the sounds are ma and then I and then e, but together it's Miami. So it's exactly
like that
the
guy
same.
in The Simpsons and Homer is like phoning up the coach's advice hotline. That's like, $1 for the first minute, $3 for each additional minutes. He's like, in the game of my me
verse
the wind.
Oh no, it does turn out that it is exactly the same pronunciation.
Well, see, I went for because I thought like, well, what's associated with Miami? The sun. So I looked up what Japanese for the sun is. And so it could be like
going to be very. I mean, it's in the name of the country.
Yeah, but just so Taiyo. I was like, okay, but if you just call them Taiyo Ninja or just Taiyo, the Taiyo, or and this one was a little more people. Maybe it would sound silly to people because you could just associate. You could just piece together what it is. But what else is associated with Florida is oranges. So but what's the Japanese for orange? And it's orangey.
Yes, it is. It's very, very similar.
So, but you could say, the orangey ninja. But then also a little part of my Catholic heart wouldn't like the characters that's suddenly been the orange ninja going around putting on their bowler hats and their sashes and marching down so I guess now though they are officially the Miami connection then, because if they're the Miami Ninja, the movie's set in Orlando, and we've been complaining about the fact they're already in Miami for like what, but now they're up against the Miami Ninja, so that is your Miami connection. Is very much like they're going up against the Miami connection.
I love it.
The Drug Connect was the drug connection to Miami, which was the Miami Ninja.
And it brought them all together in brotherhood and friendship, not friendship.
The real Miami connection was the brothers we made along the way.
Yeah, the brothers.
Could be the big twist. Could have been, though. That was like, yes, Yashito was, in fact, Jeff's literal brother the entire time. But that's a story for another week, I feel.
I never got to tell him. I researched our families, and we are related.
My Christmas present to him was going to be What do you call that site again? It's like...
the one that traces your family.
Yeah,
because I was looking at it like 2 days ago. I should fucking remember. Because I was desperate to find any way I could get some other passport, so I wasn't English. But it turns out you have to. It can't go back more than like 2 generations or something. What was it called?
Like
Ancestry.com is one.
Ancestry, that's it. Yeah, because in my mind I was going to say Gumtree. It's like,
that's very.
That was not Gumtree, and then also like what other sites exist? Duolingo. That is not what it is either. But
it's a new feature of Duolingo.
But yeah, that'd be like, but my Christmas present this year was going to be, our Ancestry.com results were that, me and Jeff are like 5th cousins or something.
Oh, bless him.
He would have been so made up. And then Jeff's just like, thank God I died. I never had to deal with that awkward situation.
Oh, no. Now I'm sad again.
Well, though, people can now partake in the drinking game, or we could choose to pour all the shots out this time for the purposes of mourning our fallen titan here.
That's very true. You've had one drink this episode. If you've got another one, people, pour it out. Pour it out for Jeff. Press
regurgitate that one you already drank and spit it on the floor. And
if if you've drank it and you can't bring anything up spit-wise, feel free to urinate. It's fine.
Or vomit, whatever you got, whatever you need to do to get this done.
Absolutely. I believe I am noted out.
As am I. I couldn't possibly go on after this. I think we just have to go out by singing Jeff's favorite song, John, of "I Will Remember You." Will you? Actually, I don't think that song was written by the time Jeff died.
Doesn't matter. It's his favorite. He wrote it. He knew it was,
We're terrible then, though. They booked Jack and Sound to play the funeral. It's not fair, though. He did love the band by the end. He had to stake out that goddamn club so often.
As he falls to his death, he's like, "You're my favorite band."
Please autograph my corpse.
I do have a brief bit in the commentary track where they mention how, because the interviewer sort of asks them if they were sort of upset with martial arts movies in general. And by the end of this minute, they never address that. They go off on a tangent that just doesn't really answer his question. And he even calls them out. He's like, "You haven't answered the question." Because they mention instead how they were actually very happy to see the success of The Karate Kid. Because it motivated kids to try martial arts. And they also felt that it portrayed what it takes and what it's really about.
Yeah.
So that they were big on Karate Kid in particular. Calling that one out by name. And going, yes, that is inspirational. And they wanted to do something like that here.
So we've talked about, Miami, or not Miami Connection, but obviously talked about Miami Connection quite a bit.
Have we?
We've talked about Karate Kid and Cobra Kai on this show quite a few times. And now I genuinely wonder, what does YK Kim think of Cobra Kai? Like, if he liked Karate Kid, is he in favor of Cobra Kai? Or is he like, no, now you're losing the message now. And
he might turn up in Cobra Kai.
I sincerely hope that he does. I really, really hope that they'll, and maybe not even in the kind of in-jokey Miami Connection kind of way, but if they do that big, the next season they go to the international competition. If they just had YK Kim there as YK Kim.
Yeah.
Just to be like, yeah, he's one of the judges or whatever, just because he's a well-respected martial artist, I would love that, But,
amazing. He doesn't even need to speak, just have him there.
Yeah, just have him wave or something. And then, I will orgasm. And my ears will pour out, my brain will pour out my ears. And I'll be like, okay, I can die now. That's all I needed to see.
Your edging would be ruined. Jesus.
I would be so stunned I would fall backwards off the scaffolding I'm watching the show on for some reason and crack over my head at the bottom.
Oh, well, we will, not make you edge anymore, listeners. We will let you be released. We will let you forth, and you can join us again in 1 week's time for more Miami Minutes. It'll be minute 69, dudes.
So if that was... Jeff had been edging that entire time. Maybe his no was actually an orgasmic, like, at last! Kind of. He's been edging his entire life, and that's why his voice took on this new level of just, like, ecstatic relief to finally let it be over.
Yeah, maybe Jeff, maybe Yashito's gang are a bit like the group in Cecil B. Demented. They're celibate for celluloid. They're not allowed to shag in the gang. Not until the mission's done and Dragon Sound are dead.
Celibate for Yashito, I guess.
We'll come up with a term. I've got about 4 things I could name this episode. But do speak to us on Facebook at the Miami Minutes Taekwondo Orphanage. X. Oh, God, I'm never going to get used to saying that. Oh, fucking hell, Jesus. Twitter. It's Twitter at Miami Minutes.
It'll be Twitter again by this time next year.
Probably.
I'm absolutely certain.
In fact, I was at a train station yesterday and they said on the tannoy, like, oh, you can get in touch with us, on Facebook at blah, blah, blah. And they said on X, formerly Twitter, at... It's like everyone has to clarify what they're fucking talking about.
Oh, I'm 100% certain by this time next year, it'll be back to Twitter or it just won't exist anymore. Like, it's just going to be, it'll run off the rails. Because I think I saw it today, like, its value is down by 72% since the purchase. And it's like 72%. So it's like someone's gonna have to, people are gonna be, there's people working in that company desperate for them to sell it to anybody, so they can try to salvage what they got. But you just have to get it. You have to wrestle it from the hands of is this an absolute this. I don't want to call it like a demented madman, because that almost makes them sound like too cool.
Yeah.
The wrestle from the hand of a cold
buffoon.
Yeah, like a pasty, cold, clammy idiot
who somehow bagged Grimes.
Yeah,
but didn't last though. But we're on Instagram as well, Miami Minutes, and find us Patreon and TeePublic. See our network there, Sleepy Charlie Media. Get extra stuff, and celebrate 69 week next week with us. Nice.
Just Jeff had to let go of his edging just before the 69. I mean, my God, the bitter irony of it.
No!
That's why he realizes that he's going down. I was so close. And then Yashito's just like, he had 1 day left until retirement.
Oh, no. Well, listeners, you will not escape the Miami connection. I was going to say minutes, actually. You will not escape the Miami Minutes.
Listen to me.